What if a daily spiritual practice was secretly a blueprint for success? In this explainer, we're diving into a source that looks at the Islamic prayer, Salah, in a totally different way. Not just as worship, but as this intense training system for building the exact skills you need to succeed in life.
So the source we're looking at kicks things off with this statement, and it's direct. It's not a gentle suggestion, it's more like a command, a foundational principle. The idea is that the path to getting what you want, in your career, in your life, everywhere, it all starts right here, with this one practice. Okay, so where does an idea like this even come from? Well, the whole argument is built on this one core belief from the Quran. The verse basically says that prayer itself, it protects you. It's not just about, asking for stuff. It's about building this internal shield, a defense system against all the things we do that cause us to fail or sabotage ourselves. And this is the source's take on it, put simply. Think about it. Before you can build anything lasting, a career, a business, whatever, you need a solid foundation, right? The argument is that Salah is that foundation. It helps you steer clear of all the bad habits and mistakes that would just wreck your efforts later on. It's step one, the absolute essential first step. All right, so how does this actually work? What are the practical lessons? Well, lesson number one that the source points to is this. Salah is basically a school for discipline, unwavering discipline. And the definition of discipline here is really powerful. It's about obeying a command no matter how you feel. It takes your emotions, your motivation, completely out of the equation. This isn't about, I feel like doing this today. Nope. It's about doing what has to be done because you made a commitment, period. And here's the key difference, right? Motivation. It's a feeling. It's up one day, down the next. If you rely on that, you're going to be inconsistent. But discipline, that's a muscle. You build it by just doing the thing. And that's what Salah trains you to do, according to this perspective, to show up. Tired? Doesn't matter. Busy? Doesn't matter. You just obey the command. And how do you train that muscle? By doing it 5 times a day, every single day. These aren't suggestions, they're non-negotiable appointments with yourself. You're literally teaching your mind and your body to stick to a schedule, to honor a commitment. And that habit of just doing what's necessary, that's the cornerstone of success right there. Okay, so once you have that foundation of discipline, what's next? The source says Salah then starts to train you in another critical skill, intentional focus. The way this works is pretty cool. At the start of every prayer, you say a specific phrase, and this phrase acts like a mental switch. It's a conscious decision, a command you give your own brain to just disconnect, to leave all the noise, the emails, the worries, leave it all behind and put 100% of your attention on this one thing for the next few minutes. Now imagine doing that 5 times a day. The source says it's literally like taking your brain to the gym for a focused workout. You get better and better at shutting out distractions, clarifying what you're doing right now, and pouring all your energy into it. I mean, that's the whole idea behind deep work, right? A skill that's becoming super rare and super valuable in the world we live in today. Which brings up a pretty big question for all of us, doesn't it? Just think, what could you get done if you had that kind of focus on tap? If you could apply that level of concentration to your biggest project at work or when you're studying for an exam, how much more could you accomplish if you could just decide to leave the world behind whenever you needed to? So we've got discipline, we've got focus. What's the third piece of the puzzle? According to this source, it's all about mastering your time. You know how a day can feel like this big, empty 24-hour space that's kind of overwhelming? Well, the idea here is that the 5 prayers act like giant pillars that hold up your day. They break it into smaller, manageable chunks. So your to-do list isn't just floating around aimlessly. It's anchored to these 5 points in time. And it gets even more specific. The source actually connects a time management principle to some of the prayer times. For example, the dawn prayer, Fajr, that teaches you urgency, getting a head start on the day. Zohar, around midday, that's your anchor for peak productivity. And Maghrib, at sunset, teaches you something we're all pretty bad at, closure, the ability to actually end the workday and transition. It creates this really powerful, natural rhythm for your entire day. Okay, so let's put it all together. You've got discipline, you've got focus, you've got time management. The argument is that when you practice these 3 things day in and day out, they merge into something even bigger. They create the ultimate skill, consistency. And this is really the core of the whole idea. It's that Salah isn't just a habit, it's a keystone habit. The one habit that makes all the other habits easier. If you can master the discipline and focus needed for this one thing,
You're basically building a blueprint that you can use to master everything else in your life.
And the most important part? This skill isn't stuck in one place. It's transferable. The person who can show up 5 times a day on time with focus, that's not just about prayer. That's a character trait. And it starts to show up everywhere, in your job, in your health, in your relationships. Being consistent in this one core area just naturally makes you more consistent everywhere else.
So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. We've just walked through a source that positions Salah as this ultimate keystone habit for success. But the principle behind it, that applies to everyone. If it's true that our success is just the result of our daily habits, then it really makes you wonder, what's the most important habit you practice? What's your keystone? And what is it training you to become every single day?